Today's learning target is I can find the rate of change and slope using tables and graphs. Today you're going to be asked to find the rate of change from a table. So here we have our table right here, and this table shows us that there were some cars washed, and it gives us the number of cars washed and the amount of money that was collected. So 5 cars were washed, it was $40, 10 cars washed, it was $80. So finding the rate of change when we have a table is just like finding the unit rate like we did last lesson. So when I look at that table, I see there that $40 were made when 5 cars were washed. So I'm going to put that down right here. Now remember, when we're finding unit rate, we know that it's $40 for 5 cars. We want to know how much it's going to be for 1 car. So to do that, I can see that I would have to divide each of these by 5. And when I do that, I get $8 for 1 car. So my rate of change is $8 for every car washed. Let's look at one more example of finding the rate of change from a table. So here we have our table, and we can see on the top here, that's our temperature, and the bottom is the time. Now I notice in this table that the time is increasing by 2 hours in each of the boxes. Okay, so I'm just going to show that. I'm going to put +2, +2, +2. Okay, and I notice the temperature is showing a 3 degrees increase between every box, just like that. Now remember, finding the rate of change from a table is just like finding the unit rate. So I can see from our table here that there's a 3-degree change every 2 hours, and I'll abbreviate hours HRS. Now I want to find out what the temperature change would be in 1 hour. So to do that, I'm going to need to divide by 2 for each of these, just like that. And now I could use my calculator to do 3 divided by 2, or you might know that one, and that would be 1.5 degrees for every hour. So our rate of change would be 1.5 degrees, or 1 5/10 degrees, every 1 hour. When we're asked to find the rate of change from a graph, like we have right here, that's called slope. The slope can be found by taking the rise over the run, and I'll explain what that means in a second. But for now, just know rise over run, rise over run. Okay, it's kind of smooth there, the rise over the run. Now let me show you how to find the rise and the run in a graph. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to select 2 points on this line. So for right now, I'm going to select this point right here, and I'll select this point right here. And the reason I chose those 2 points is because you can see I can easily find the coordinates of those 2 points because they're on those lines. Now to find the rise in the graph, I start at my lowest point and I see how much it rises or goes up to go to the second point. So the rise from here to this point, it would have to go up 1 number because it goes from 3 to 4. So from here to here. Alright, so that would be a rise of 1. So I'll put my rise of 1 on the top of the fraction line because it's always rise over run. Now the run tells me how many numbers it is from the first point to the second point, but moving to the right. Okay, so I take a look at my first point and I'd have to go 1, 2 places, or 2 numbers, 1, 2, so from 2 to 4. So the run would be 2 in this case. So my slope, or my rate of change from this graph, is 1 over 2, or 1/2. Let's look at one more example here of finding slope, or the rate of change, in a graph. So remember, slope is the rise over the run. Rise over run. Okay, and the rise is the up, and the run is how far it goes to the right. Now you can see this graph here has actually made it easy for us because it's labeled points for us and it's told us what the coordinates of those points are. So I can choose whatever 2 points I want on this line. So I'll choose this one right there because it's already labeled, and that one because it's already labeled. So the first thing I want to do is I want to find my rise. So I want to find how far up it goes from this point here to this point. Okay, so I can see I start here and I'm going up 1, 2, 3 lines. But be careful, my rise isn't 3. Because if I notice over here, every time I go up a line, it goes up 20. From 60 to 80, that's 20. So this would be 20. Here's another 20, that's 40. Another 20, that's 60. So it goes up 60. So my rise is 60, and that would be miles. Put it. And now I'm going to find my run. Okay, so remember the run is from here to here. Now here again, so I'm going from this point and I'm going over 1, 2 lines. But let's check the lines out. Each line is 1/2 or 0.5 of an hour because it says h. So this would be 0.5 and another 0.5 would be 1. So from here it was at 1 and this one was at 2. So I moved a total of 1 hour. So I'll put that right here, 60 miles on the top, that's the rise, and the run is 1 hour. So my slope is 60 to 1, or 60 I could say, and what that means is I travel 60 miles for every 1 hour.